Well, fearing a large explosion, many residents of the West Valley area called 911 and KIMA Action News this weekend after a large noise shook buildings. The Yakima County Sheriff's Office responded to multiple callers after residents complained of windows shaking following the noise between 8 and 9 p.m. Saturday night. The sheriff confirmed to KIMA today that they didn't see, hear or find anything of note in the area, and the Yakima Police Department confirmed they have no information. There are no reports of any structural damage in the area. Thus, the cause of the noise is unexplained at this time.
Yeah, people in West Valley, Taylorsville, and Kearns say they were startled by a loud boom this morning, and many took to Facebook to chime in on what it might be.
Leslie Duarte joins us live tonight after talking to people where they heard that noise, and she spoke to someone who may have an insight onto what happened. So, Leslie, what'd you find?
Mark, Heidi, comment after comment on Facebook. Many people saying that loud noise woke them up.
It starts with bright flashes across the sky. Then
it was very perplexing, a little eerie.
On social media, many users posted similar videos of the moment something explodes.
Yeah, I looked at our Ring camera and it sure enough was there.
What it is or exactly where it happened is still a mystery.
Looks like there's freaking aliens outside my house.
Charles Johnson, a firework expert for more than 20 years, says he knows.
When you saw this video, what was your initial thought?
I am nearly certain, with almost no doubt, is that it is a firework of some type. There's actually two fireworks there.
He says the light reflections on the ground and buildings is a good indicator the item was in the air when it went off.
I'm saying it was a strobe shell and a whistle to salute shell.
West Valley City Police Department, where most of the videos were shared from, declined to comment, saying they are not investigating the incident because it did not originate in their area, but said they got several calls around 2:45 Wednesday morning and said there were no reports of damages or injuries.
Don't worry too much about it, but I certainly wouldn't be setting them off at the wrong time of the year.
Now, Charles there shared his thoughts on this, but we still haven't confirmed exactly what it is. Although it was seen in West Valley, there were other cities, including Taylorsville and Kearns, that had similar sounds and this explosion near their home. I asked police departments in those cities for comment.
Well, there's been a lot of news in 2025. One of the biggest couple of stories that we've had, obviously, is related to commercial aviation safety. We've had a number of plane incidents in 2025.
Yeah, you mentioned that, Paris, that this has been in the news a lot lately. It's interesting that you're saying that this might happen more than we realize, but the reality is it seems like it's just been nonstop after what happened in Washington, D.C. I know people who say they don't even want to fly anymore.
Oh my goodness. California is covered in fog. It looks like I live in the sky. This is crazy. The moon is literally...
That has to be the moon. What are we looking at? Kev! Why is there 3 moons in the sky right now?
What?
There's 3 moons in the sky.
Where?
Look at the cloud. And then there was no light. And then there was a light again. And then there was 2. How? There's no moon anywhere. Look, there's nothing behind that cloud.
We've been talking about the fog, right? And everybody's freaking out about the amount of fog that's going around.
Not only nationwide, worldwide.
Well, apparently in the 50s, our government ran this experiment called Operation Sea Spray. In 1950, the U.S. Navy's secret biological experiment in which Seriata marcescens and another bacteria were sprayed over the San Francisco Bay Area in California in order to determine how vulnerable a city like San Francisco might be to a bioweapon attack. They 1 American and put 10 more in the hospital. This bacteria affects the gut, the respiratory issues, and the urinary tract. Now, the person who died had a pre-existing thing, and so they were trying to say, like, none of this is confirmed. But then the military confirmed in a Senate hearing that this is actually an experiment that they did. And so they weren't held liable for anything because you can't definitively correlate the introduction of the bacteria to, like, that's definitely what got this person. But it is beyond doubt admitted that they put bacteria in the air to test if the entire San Francisco region was susceptible to a biological attack. So the reason they said it was okay to do is because this specific bacteria isn't bad enough to make people actually sick. They were testing a delivery system.
Give us laughing gas or something.
But
Give
that's
us something fun.
But that's what's crazy. 10 people, like, hospital stays, and one of them died, and it's like, well, that was just a test and a risk we were willing to run.
It is either there's something sinister happening or the biggest coincidence ever that across the whole nation, people were like, dude, this is weird fog. What's up with this fog? And then 2 weeks later, this giant influenza A, influenza B, norovirus, and RSV is rampant.
Yeah.
I think over 11,000 people in the U.S. have so far from it.
Really?
Stumbled upon over a decade ago was an underground military base that was a cloning facility. Like, we're talking stereotypical sci-fi vibes, like the tubes, like the giant test tubes with the people in it. And I just saw the same celebrity 3 times in 2 different test tubes. Yeah.
They were doing it to people, and this was 10 years ago?
2 people, 10 years.
I see some flat. Look at this. So I flip this to L2, and then I bring this to 1, and fire. Now look at that. Fire. Fire. Fire.
Do you remember the strange disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 in 2014? The plane has never been found. One independent investigative journalist, however, named Ashton Forbes, thinks he might have the answer to the mystery of the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
This is not any type of hoax or fabrication. What we're looking at here is advanced technology the United States has. What it is equivalent to, if not exactly of, is warp drive. First of all, Tesla was right. There is potentially an extra dimension that our reality is painted onto, and if we can crack through that, then we can unlock essentially unlimited negative energy, which is exactly what is needed for a wormhole to occur. So what we think we're actually looking at here in those videos is a real wormhole, and the United States government has reverse engineered that. I would speculate, based on the investigation here, sometime in the early 2000s is when we first started to figure it out and it became operational, and we've been hiding it ever since.
The UN is moving forward with global digital IDs to combat change by tracking individuals' energy use and encouraging sustainable behavior. According to a UN blog post, digital IDs could help governments track populations, especially during environmental emergencies, and implement targeted responses to mitigate crisis effectively. The UN argues that leveraging data from these IDs could inspire behavioral changes on an individual level to reduce carbon footprints and prevent disasters. This push for digital IDs aligns with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals under Agenda, which seeks to register all individuals around the world, including birth registration, under a global system of digital IDs, linking them to financial systems. So far, nearly 200 nations have joined this initiative.
Symbols are funny. Every symbol has more than one meaning. Sometimes the meaning is obvious, but often a symbol gets picked up by a certain group and they give it a special hidden meaning. But it only has meaning to them, not to everyone else. Take the letter G in the center of the Masonic square and compasses. What does it stand for? It depends on who you are. Some say it simply means God, or maybe short for Grand Architect of the Universe, the GAO2U. Some say Gnosis, Greek for knowledge. And I'm not saying that any of these interpretations is wrong. Another group has a special meaning for the G, and it's not in Masonry. It's Jesuit. Hi, I'm David Daniels for Chick Publications. Jesuit is spelled with a J, right? But the home base of the Jesuits is the Church of the Gesù, G-E-S-U, with a G. Gesù, by the way, is Jesus in Italian. Let me read to you from Rulers of Evil by author F. Tupper Saucy. Hold Freemasonry up to the light, and you cannot help but see the Black Papacy's watermark. Isn't it reasonable, given the circumstances, that the G in the center of the familiar Masonic emblem represents the initial of Gesù, the residence of the Black Popes, at the Jesuits' world headquarters in Rome? Freemasons wouldn't suspect this, nor would Jesuits. It would be information reserved uniquely to the unknown superior, who shares what he knows with no one.
These same scientists recently made a very serious mistake.
Genetic engineering of trees is following on the tradition of genetically engineering crops.
We have no idea what the environmental impact will be of producing a genetically modified tree into nature.
Government is permitting it, kind of looking the other way.
Could this potentially have an effect on animals that would eat the chestnuts?
When you have these unpredictable impacts in a tree that you've now released into the forest, to spread these unpredictable impacts in a way that can't be reversed is obviously a disaster waiting to happen. Process of genetic modification is very disruptive to the genome.
We have literally no idea what the effect will be.